K9 sat in front of a pregnant stranger. Doctors found it just in time. The county fair smelled like kettle corn and sawdust. By the livestock barn, the sheriff's office ran a community demo. Meet the deputies, try on a vest, and watch K9 Bear do his obedience routine on a patch of grass marked with orange cones. Deputy Logan Reed gave the hand signal. Down. Bear folded like a closing book. Kids clapped. Logan talked about scent cones and tracking, how a dog reads the air like a paragraph. Then Bear stood up, unasked, walked off the cone line, and headed straight for the crowd. Sorry, folks, Logan called, moving fast. He's friendly. Bear didn't weave. He picked a straight line to a woman by the lemonade stand. Late 20s, a hand resting over a round belly beneath a denim jacket. She smiled, a little flustered. I'm Megan Whitaker, she said. He's gorgeous. Bear sat directly in front of her and wouldn't budge. Then he leaned in and licked the inside of her wrist, once, slowly, nose working like he was reading a code. He looked up at Logan and let out a short, tight huff. The one he used to say, I found the thing. Logan's smile thinned. Bear wasn't trained for medical alerts, but he'd flagged a low blood sugar once during a school visit. Logan took in Megan's details. The sheen at her hairline, though the September air was cool, the faint tremor in her fingers, the way she blinked a beat too long. You okay? He asked, keeping his voice casual. I'm fine, Megan said, and then laughed at herself. 32 weeks and I forgot breakfast. I took my insulin and meant to grab a biscuit. I'll eat now. Bear stayed planted. He lifted one paw and set it gently on her shoe. Logan had seen that paw mean 100 things in training. Here it meant don't wait. Humor me, he said. Sit a sec. We'll check you. A first aid tent stood 20 yards away. A volunteer medic brought over a chair and a glucometer. Megan tried to wave it off. I've got gestational diabetes, I know the drill. But Logan had already peeled an alcohol swab. Finger stick, the medic said softly. The strip drank a drop of blood and thought for a second. 44 among DL. Yup, the medic said. You are not fine. The world tilted a degree. Megan swallowed. Okay. Juice, Logan said, already reaching for the vendor's cup. The medic handed over a tube of oral glucose gel. Sip that, then this. Small sips. Bear lay across Megan's shoes and stayed there like a furry brake pedal. The color that had washed out of her lips began creeping back. Call your OB, the medic said. We need you on monitors. We'll ride you in. I can drive, she started. You can ride, Logan said, kind but immovable. Let your husband meet you there. She nodded, shaky. Tyler Whitaker. He's at the tool booth. I'll call. In the ambulance, the monitor beeped a steady reassurance. Blood sugar crept upward, 58, then 72, while an ER nurse called labor and delivery upstairs. They rolled her straight to triage for a non-stress test. The fetal monitor traced out a heartbeat like a jump rope. One brief dip that made the room hold its breath, then recovery. Scary, not catastrophic, the OB resident said, eyes on the strip. You had a bad low. With insulin on board and no food, that can spiral. We got you in time. Bear wasn't allowed inside, but rules have soft edges when heroes behave. Security let Logan and Bear wait just beyond the double doors with a blanket and a paper cup of water. Every time the doors parted, Bear's ears ticked. Every time they closed, he settled. Tyler arrived out of breath, vendor badge still clipped to his shirt. Megan? Logan pointed. She's upstairs. She's talking. Baby's on monitors. He glanced down. This is Bear. He's why we're here now and not an hour later. Tyler crouched and put a hand on Bear's neck the way grateful people do, like a prayer you can touch. Good boy, he whispered. Upstairs, the plan shifted from emergency to prevention. Adjust Megan's insulin ratio, set alarms she wouldn't sleep through, and fit a continuous glucose monitor, a quarter-size sensor that would ping her phone if she drifted low again. They kept her for observation. The next tracing looked like good news drawn in pencil. When a nurse finally wheeled Megan out, she was pale and sheepish and very alive. I thought I was being dramatic, she told Logan. I felt shaky but figured lemonade would fix it. She looked at Bear. He didn't. Bear's dramatic on purpose, Logan said. He freelances when he thinks I'm missing something. She laughed, then covered her eyes for a second. Thank you. Thank him, Logan said. Bear thumped his tail once and leaned his shoulder into her shin, like eat first next time. They took a photo in the lobby, Megan with the hospital bracelet, Tyler holding a folded discharge packet, Logan kneeling beside Bear. A nurse printed an extra copy for the NICU bulletin board with a caption, K9 Bear. 1 low blood sugar, 0. Back at the fairgrounds, Logan swapped the cones for a shaded spot and let Bear nap hard, paws twitching in a dream only dogs get to watch. Word had already outpaced them, vendors pressing free corn dogs into Logan's hands, strangers leaning over the barrier to say, tell him he's a hero, children spelling BEA like a chant. A week later, Megan stopped by the sheriff's office with a thank you card and a bag of tiny onesies printed with paw prints. They dialed my insulin back, she said. The monitor buzzed at 3 a.m. last night and saved me again. I thought pregnancy was just being tired and swollen. Turns out it's also math. Healthy kind, Logan said. Do the math. When their daughter arrived, June Whitaker, 6 pounds fierce, Tyler texted Logan a photo of Bear's name taped to the nursery wall under a framed print of the fair flyer. The message read, he caught it before I did. We'll never forget it. Training looked a little different at the unit after that. Between tracks and obedience reps, the K9s learned a simple add-on, an alert chain for human medical distress, sit, paw, stare. Not because they were becoming doctors, but because sometimes the world hands a working dog a job he wasn't asked to do, and he does it anyway. Sometimes the save isn't sirens and speeches. Sometimes it's a dog that won't move until you sit down, drink the juice, and let the right people read the numbers. Sometimes just in time wears a badge and a fur coat and insists, politely, that you live to tell the story. If this gave you a reason to breathe, like and share it. Subscribe to Next Kindness for the next twist where what happens after the scare is grace.